Hi, everyone. Okay, can you guys hear me? Let me know if I'm loud and clear. Hopefully, not too loud. Okay, so there's a few people still joining, so yay! Um, Hi, Suti. I remember still talking to you through email, so hi. Um, yeah, guys, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you are listening from, where you're watching from, and as we kind of get people started inside of the Zoom room. So yeah, let me know where you guys are listening from. If you're like Stuti, who's listening all the way from India, if you're from the Philippines, let me know. I am super excited about sharing everything that I will be talking to you guys about tonight. This is something that every time I do this, I always get better and better because I always have new wisdom for people who are watching in. So even though this is a class that I have done before, every time that I do it, it's always going to be different for each student who does attend. So yeah, let me know if you guys are. We have, of course, from Cebu, Philippines, where I'm from. Yeah, let me know in the chat. One thing that I do want to let you guys know is the more that you comment, the more that you chat. Later on, we're going to check all of the chat history, and we're going to be giving away some few things for the people who are the most participative of all during this whole time. So yeah. So hi to Rue, watching from South Africa. That's amazing. I have people from. This is the first time that this has gone so international. So thank you, Rue, for watching all the way from South Africa. We have Tina from Cebu. So yeah, we're kind of waiting a little bit for until to the time where just getting people in. Like I can see other people in the waiting room, so I'm just letting them in. Um, we have Robert also from Cebu. So you guys are near where I am. Okay, so how are you guys doing tonight? Are you guys feeling from the rate of 1 to 10, maybe 10 being that you're super duper awesome, 1 being that you kind of want to hide in your closet? Where are you guys at tonight? How are you feeling? Yeah, we have a few people still joining us, which is awesome. So Franz is at an 8. Yeah, let me know where you guys are at. And if at any time that I lose video or lose audio, do let me know, especially if I'm on a roll, because I might um, not be able to find out right away if I'm having technical difficulties. So we have Judy from Cebu. Rue is 7, feeling anxious. Whoa, why are you feeling anxious, Rue? We have Christina is feeling 10 because she's drinking milk tea. Don't we all wish that we were all drinking milk tea right now? Okay, so yeah, without further ado, I think we'll start at 7:05 because, like I said, some people are. I can still see people coming in inside of the waiting room because sadly I can't turn off the waiting room. I used to be able to turn off waiting room in Zoom, but I can't anymore, so I have to admit people one by one. So we have Jenny from Metro Manila, somewhere stuck in traffic. So yeah, so, well, if you guys take action by everything that I teach you guys today, hopefully you won't be stuck in traffic going or coming from work because you'll be working from home. So yeah. Yeah, let me know in the chat. Like I said, later on after this whole thing, we'll go through the chat history and we'll see who is actually the person who chatted or participated the most. So I've turned off your guys' audio for the for the time being. I might turn it on later on when once we have time for questions. Mostly because some people might have unmuted themselves all of a sudden. We've done so many of these Zoom lives where things happen. So I'm just turning off your guys' audio, and then later on at the end we're going to have a time for Q&A, and then you guys can unmute yourselves and ask questions. Okay, so since it's already 7:05, without further ado, let me share my screen. um, okay, so tonight we are going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about your first side gig. If you've never worked from home before, this is going to be a very step by step. I call it masterclass because it's really going to cover a lot of the usual basics when it comes to working from home. So I hope you guys are excited. Let me know if you're excited in the chat. Hopefully I'll be able to see the chat. Sometimes Zoom doesn't. Oh, okay, I can. Sometimes Zoom doesn't let me see the chat. So let me know if you guys are excited to get started working from home, if this is something that you guys want to do. And since you guys are here, I'm guessing that is something you guys want to do. Okay, so first of all, you guys are encouraged to take notes. I said it in the email to have your pen and notebook ready. You are encouraged to also tag me on social media. You can use the hashtag virtualate or hashtag work anywhere VA so I can find your post and share it. And also, I'm encourage you guys to just ask questions. If I don't get to answer your questions right away, I will answer them at the end of this masterclass. So today's goal is to prepare you for your first online side gig. That is the whole goal of this, is to get you guys ready that afterwards, if you guys do take action, you guys will be able to get that first client. So if you guys have no idea who I am, my name is Dianlay Lacaba. I am the virtual ate. I've been working online since 2011. So that's 15-year-old me. That was actually my prom night, where I basically I graduated. After I graduated high school, I started just searching for jobs online. It was summer, right before I went to college, because here in the Philippines, we actually start our, it used to be that we would be able to start our college at 15 or 16. And I started out as a writer. That's how I got started. Was I basically had this blog, and it was Imperfect is Beautiful. That was my blog when I was 15. And basically that's how I got started. Was I was just writing articles, I was writing stories, I was writing poems on my site. And then I was part of this Facebook group where I got my first client, because she was one of the people who were in it. We were all like bloggers supporting bloggers, and she saw my writing and she's like, hey, can you do this but for my blog, and I'll pay you for it. So that's basically just how I got started. And now it's now actually 50 plus employees. I now run a company, an outsourcing company here in Cebu, Philippines. We now have 50 employees, because even during quarantine, we've been hiring like crazy, which is fun to see just the growth. So this picture was taken like 2 weeks before the lockdown here in Cebu. So right now we have like 10 other people who are not even in this photo, just because of how much we have grown. I've spoken all over Asia about outsourcing. So basically my niche, my expertise, it's outsourcing, is helping employers be able to have employees working from home. So I've switched that. I flipped the script when I became the virtual ate, because I've been able to travel around the world a lot, not lately, but as lately as December of last year, like 29th of December, I came from Taiwan. So all of these times, all of these photos that I have here, I have been able to still work. I'm not on leave. I'm not on any like just pure vacation. I'm still able to work in all of these photos. Now, that might sound tiring to you guys, but for me, it's so freeing to not be locked in an office where I have to be there, have to be there, 9 to 5 every day. So that's something that I've been able to build upon in the last 10 years. So I've also been able to grow my brand as the virtual ate, as the online coach. I've been able to, one of my videos is actually an older screenshot right here. It's actually now at 60,000 views, this video right here, which is amazing. And I've been able to collab, I've been to different people's podcasts. So this has really been my focus in the last year, of how to be able to get people, and I've helped a lot of people, how to be able to get started working from home. So one thing that might be curious to you guys why I added this. I'm a daddy's girl. So what that means is I love my dad, and I run to him whenever I'm in pain. He's the person that I go to a lot to talk to. I love my mom, but I grew up that way. And then my dad sadly had to work overseas my whole life until I was about 21. He was working overseas, but then when I was 21, I was already here. So I wasn't able to grow up with my dad. I wasn't able to always see him. I would see him like 3 times a year for only like 2 months or 30 days each. So it was really for me a struggling thing, just not having my dad around, not having someone who I could ask questions about if I was too shy to ask my mom, for example. And even then, my mom was also working a lot. So I really wanted to think of a way like, hey, what if I can have more and more Filipinos starting off, and then everyone else be able to start working from home, so they don't have to leave their house, unlike my dad. So that's where this is all kind of starting. So at the end of this webinar, if you guys stay on, you will get the virtual ate toolkit so you can get started. Now, this is only going to be the people who are here inside of Zoom. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm sorry, but this is only for people who are here live. So you guys will be able to get the toolkit. Will have templates that will help you guys get started. It will have application letter templates. It will have a tracker that you guys can use. And you will also have access to all of these slides. So you guys can go back at any time and be able to just review everything that we have talked about tonight. So before I go into it, I want to kind of give you guys this concept. And once you guys get this concept, everything else that I'm going to be teaching tonight will be so much easier. So this is called the Teachability Index. So the Teachability Index indicates that if you want success, if you want to be successful in learning just about literally anything, you have to have the willingness to learn and the willingness to take action. Now, since you guys are here live with me in Zoom or on YouTube, you guys, I can see that you guys have the willingness to learn, but it has to be paired with the willingness to take action. It is a multiplicative effect. So if you guys are 10 on learning and 10 on action, you're 100% guaranteed to succeed. But if you are only a 10 on action, you're like, here, yeah, I'm ready to listen, I have my notes and everything, but you're not willing to take action, it's 0 because you're not willing to take action. And then if you guys are going to be a 5 on learning, 5 on action, so halfway there, it's still 25. So you really have to be present and, again, also willing to take action. So let me know in the chat where you guys are at. Let me know in the chat if you guys are a 10 out of 10. If you're 100%, let me know where you guys are at on the Teachability Index. Yes, Rue, let's take action. Yes. So let me know, are you a 10 learning, 10 on action? Are you 100? Are you only maybe 50%, 25%, or 70%? Up to you guys. No judgment here. But let me know in the chat if you guys are ready and willing to learn everything that we're going to be covering tonight. Because it's, like I said, it's going to be action-packed. Just because like I said, I love doing this training because it's actually one of my favorite things to teach, is just the basics of how to work from home. So yeah, we have a bunch of people who are saying 100%. Yay, that's awesome. Yeah, 90%. That's okay. Even if you're, at least you're not 0. That's basically where I'm at. At least you're not a 0. Hey, awesome. Okay, so basically a little bit of an overview about working online. So what is working from home? So working from home, it's like a regular office job. And however, your clients and workmates can be from anywhere in the world. That is, we still have a few people coming in, which is awesome. That is basically what work from home is. It's kind of still like having an actual job, but it's you're working from home. You're working from literally anywhere. So and then your clients could be from the US, from the UK, from, again, literally anywhere. That is the whole point of it. So let me pause a little bit because I forgot to check my YouTube if we're actually live. At least that would be funny if it is not. So it looks like we're live. Hopefully we're live. And then basically going back, who can work from home? So who's quote unquote qualified to be able to work from home? So basically, as long as you're willing to learn a skill, anyone can, with the right tools, of course. So that's what I mean by you have to be willing to take action. And basically on the tools, I'll discuss it a little bit later, but you have to have the right tools to get started. You need to maybe either have a phone or a laptop, some sort of internet connection, of course, to find these jobs. And you need to have that willingness to learn a skill. And then how can you start working from home? Of course, we'll cover that today. So are you guys ready, by the way? Before we go to step 1, which you guys already saw, are you guys ready to start working from home? Is this something that you guys want? Let me know, because we'll really jump into it. You guys are going to hopefully take a lot of notes, hopefully take a lot of action. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of yeses. Yay, awesome. Okay, so step 1, as you guys already saw, is to basically just set goals. That's step 1, because you want to be able to know where you're heading. So how do you set your goals? So first thing that I always recommend is to celebrate your wins. A lot of the time, we forget that we have done so much. So we've achieved so much. So when you are setting your goals, so you want to look back at how awesome you are, basically, because you want to get your brain in that state of mind. You want to get your brain in that state of, yeah, I can accomplish a lot of things because I've accomplished these. So when you celebrate your wins, you can list out the things that in the last 30, 90 days, 365 days that you have done, that you have achieved. You want to make that list. So what that could look like is, I don't know, I just lost 2 kilos in a week. So yay. So that's my win. That's my recent win. So I know that I can keep going and I keep losing that weight. Or it could be, getting your first job. If this is something you've actually already have a job right now, or it could be a win as cooking yourself lunch or dinner, or it could be something really small. No, I always say this, no win is too big or too small for this. The point is to create that list of what are the things that you have already achieved, that you have done, that you're proud of yourself that you did. And again, it just gets you into that state of gratitude. It gets you into that state of, oh, this is possible. This is something that I can do. So that is what celebrate your wins mean. Next is basically creating your B hack. Now, if you guys haven't watched my video on how to set goals, it's basically a big, hairy, audacious goal. That's what a B hack is. It's basically because I asked this during an interview. So if anyone here is watching and you've done a job interview with me, I always ask, what will your life look like if you had all the resources? Basically, that's money, support, mentors, basically everything that you need to succeed in life. What does that look like? So for me, that's being able to start a agency in New York City, an outsourcing agency in New York City, because that means that I have a business in the first world country. It also means that I'll be able to hire more Filipinos working from home. So that's what it looks like for me. That's my B hack. And it also means that I'm in US, in New York. So it's going to be different for everyone what your BHAG will look like, but that is what that means. So if you had everything that you needed in life, including tools, including other stuff, what will your life look like? Next is you want to start creating your 2020 BHAG. Now I know 2020 is almost done. We are at the last quarter of it, but you still want to try to imagine that it's New Year. It's because you know how you guys probably do this where it's the New Year, so you're gonna create New Year's resolution, but you don't finish them. This is basically what your 2020 BHAG is. You're going to take your big hairy audacious goal, and then you're going to break it down. Like, okay, what can I achieve this year? So, for example, for me, my 2020 BHAG is to be able to get 10 more clients inside of my outsourcing agency. I know it's a little bit small, but it's not small for me. It's something that it's a feat for me. It's something that is a goal for me to do. So that is my 2020 BHAG because that moves me forward. That moves me closer to my actual BHAG. Next is create your SMART goals. So who here knows, especially if you guys have been getting my 10-day emails, who here knows what SMART means? What is a SMART goal? I'm going to ask you that question while I drink my water. Who here's know what a SMART goal is? You have Janice, specific, measurable, yes. Or else? That's only S and M. Specific, measurable. Anyone else who wants to chime in what basically SMART goals are? You guys can open up the chat and we will see. We have Lordette with a very caps lock, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Yes. Awesome. By the way, like I said, guys, try to chat as much as possible because later on we'll be going through the chat and we'll be giving away something cool for whoever has the most chats. So just repeating that especially for the newbies who are coming in. We will have a giveaway for the person with the most chats, as long as it makes sense. You can't chat like 50 things just saying hi. It has to be within the context of this training. So last thing is set baby steps. So okay, I have actually didn't explain create SMART goals. Sorry. Basically, when you create SMART goals, you want to break down, now that you have your 2020 BHAG, you're going to break it down. Okay, what are the different goals that I can set? At least I always try to say just make 3 smart goals that you are going to be following for the rest of the year, what will that look like breaking down? So, for example, for me, one of my smart goals is to have we'll focus on my goal to get 10 more clients in our agency. My smart goals for that is to have a marketing campaign where the lead generation is almost like automatic, like it will bring some leads in. So that's one of my goals. The other one is to get qualified people inside of our company, and the last one is to make sure that everything is systematized. So for me, all of those are specific enough, like I can track them. It's also time bound because it's within the year of 2020. It's also realistic because I know I've done it before. I've grown companies before. One of the companies that I've grown is now has close to 15 employees, and that's because they don't really need as much employees, but they're going on their own. So I know that's something that I have achieved before. That's why you want to celebrate your wins, because you want to base your next goal or your next reach based on that, on your old goals. Okay, so um, like I said, Studio, I see your chat, but basically I go through all of the questions that aren't related to here later on at the end of this. And then last thing, as you guys already saw, is set baby steps. So then what are now the baby steps that I will need to do to be able to achieve this? So it's experimenting, for me, example, experimenting on different marketing. So Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, and to get qualified people inside of our company, I have to get our interview process better and better so I can filter better people. And also, it's just making sure that I track all of the systems that we're currently doing so I can automate and give this company off basically to someone else then once it's already up and running, because that's my goal. I know it's a weird goal, but it's something that I've done before. So I know that I can do it. Okay, so when I ask you guys, you can drop it in the chat. If you don't, you can chat it to me privately on Zoom. You guys can pick out my name. What is your big, hairy, audacious goal? What is something that you guys are currently working towards, or something that feels ridiculous if you say it out loud, but then to you it makes total sense? Because that's basically the very definition for me, at least for me, of what a BHAG is. It needs to be ridiculous when you say it out loud, when you're not used to saying it. Like when I first said that I wanted to start a New York agency, it sounded weird, but the more and more that I said it, the more that I'm confident that I'm able to do it. So let me know in the chat again, what is your big, hairy, audacious goal? What is something that you are working towards? Studi says self-publishing a book, which is awesome. Yeah, I want to make a pet shelter and shelter for old people here in the Philippines. Yes, that's awesome, Christina. So yeah, that's a perfect example of it. It's something that you believe that you can achieve once you have all of the resources and whatever those resources may look like. So thank you everyone for sharing your BHAG. Step 2 now is when you have a goal. The importance really of a goal is so you have something to work towards. You're not lost in a map. You're not just wandering. You're not just waiting for inspiration to come. You're taking charge of it. You're taking charge of what you're going to be doing, what your next steps are going to be. So for example, for me, since I have that goal, every decision that I make moving forward is going to be like towards that goal. Like if I have to decide whether I'm going to have McDonald's tonight or I'm not, I'm just going to be fasting until tomorrow because I have a goal of reaching 55 kilos. I'm not going to do McDonald's. I'm just going to fast. It makes making decisions, so much easier when you have a good goal. And also, as you guys are going to start working online, having a goal, because you guys are probably going to have this as a question, as one of the job interview questions is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You're able to confidently answer that if you've already set your goals even before you start working online. Okay, so next is we're going to be talking about tools. So basically there's different types of tools. So the first thing is, I call them mindset tools. Basically these are habits, these are systems, these are things that are going to be your foundation as you guys start working online. So it could be your values, it could be your beliefs, it could be your principles, it could be something that as you start having a job, as you start having a career, you are able to easily, again, make decisions. You're able to know where you want to go. That's what mindset tools are. Basically, it's do you have self-discipline? Because working online, you have to be disciplined because no one is watching over your shoulder, making sure that you get the work done. That's the biggest thing about working online is you are your own boss in a lot of different ways. You do have your another boss, but basically you are your own boss. No one is going to be telling you, hey, you have to work at 8 o'clock, or you're not leaving the house and going to somewhere else to start working. You're at home. Sometimes, like, I sometimes wake up at 7 o'clock and start working at 9, or I don't work at all until like noon or evening even. So I have the freedom, and that's the freedom that you guys will eventually be able to get, is having that freedom of flexibility of when to work. So that's the first thing that you guys really need to have. Next is physical tools. So of course, like I mentioned, it could be having a laptop where you have at least 6 gig of RAM. Just get yourself started. i5 core Intel and at least 500 gigabyte storage. It could be lower than that. It depends on the type of job. But the point of the physical tools, of course, is to have something that you can work on. Now, one of the videos that I'm coming out actually in 2 weeks is how to actually find jobs on your phone. So make sure to watch out for that. But basically on that, it's having the place where you can actually work. Of course, when you guys start working on an office job, you guys are given a computer set, you guys are given the tablets or whatever tools that you guys will need to get started. But when you're working from home, you have to provide yourself with that. Unless you have an employer where they can help you get a laptop, they'll loan you a laptop. We do that in our company. But that is something that if you're thinking of working online, you have to have this to get started. Again, you can use your phone. This is something that you guys, it is a supercomputer in a lot of different ways. So this is something that you guys can get started on, but you need to have that. You need to have a place where you can actually work. And of course, internet. It's having good headphones. I really recommend this because you might be doing calls, you might be just listening or watching videos. You don't want to be disturbing other people, especially if you're going to be working with home with family. And of course, digital tools. So a lot of the digital tools that I recommend is having some way to track your tasks, for example, some way to see what you have already done, what you haven't done, and what you're supposed to do. It's also having a work email address, your resume and your portfolio, which we'll be talking about in a little bit, and a branded social media, which again, we will also be talking about. So what I mean with a work email address is you want to have a professional email address, especially when you're sending out your resume. So for example, for me, when I was 15, I had two email addresses. I had one which was, and this is real, I don't have to log into it anymore, which is leannelovesyou at gmail.com. You guys email that. You guys can't, I won't be able to see that because it's not anywhere. And then I had my formal one, which was the leanne.lacaba. So that was where I would be able to send my resume. That's what I used to talk to the employers, to talk to people, because then it was more formal. It was, even though I was 15, they had no idea I was 15 because I set everything right, because I was looking at how my mom was working and I took it for myself and added that professionalism, even though, again, I was 15 years old. I had no real idea what I was doing, but that was how I got started. And you guys can check out all of the tools that I really recommend. You guys can go to leonlight.com/tools. I drop it in the chat right now. But basically, these are the different tools that I recommend that I have used myself in order for me to be able to work smoothly. So these are all of them. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, out of all of the tools mentioned here, which one are you guys might be struggling with? Which one is something that you guys need right now to get started? I just kind of want to know where you guys are at, so I can customize this whole masterclass in that way. So let me know in the chat, what out of these three tools, out of the other tools that I mentioned, which one of these do you need to be able to start? Let me know again. So again, I can customize, and once as I'm going through the whole training, I can talk about those specifically. So Rue says she doesn't have a branded social media. That's okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Who else? What else do you guys need? Where are you guys at? Branded social media, resume, portfolio. Okay, so we'll be able to cover that today. So that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask, because I wanted to see, like, did I forget something in this? But probably not, because I've done this training a couple of times and it always covers. Lila says 3C. Yeah, headphones. You guys can buy, like, if you guys are from the Philippines, 50 peso headphones, and that has worked for me in a pinch a lot of the time to get yourself started. Studi says she doesn't know how to make a resume. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so the next thing is, hopefully, if you guys read the email that I sent out, basically this will make everything so much easier. Is picking your skill. So your skill is basically answers the question, what do you do? You know, when your aunts or your mom or whoever authority or your old teacher says, oh, what do you do? What do you do for work? What do you do for a living? That's what your skill is. So basically, how do you actually pick a skill? So you want to make a list of the skills that you already know that you have, or you can check out the 100 skills PDF. If you guys signed up for this, you should have gotten it. If not, let me know. And I'll try to find, I know I created a link to it, but I'll try to find that link and I'll drop it in the chat later on. But basically, you want to check that, you know, against the 100 skills that I've listed out. By the way, all of those skills are in demand because I researched like a ton of different job sites for those. Which one of those do you already know? Which one of those you might be curious into learning, into doing yourself? So that is the point of them, is you want to make that list of skills, or again, check out the PDF. And then you also want to then, once you have them, once you have, you know, 3 things, it could be just the one thing, that's fine. You want to rank them, but by how good you are and how much you like doing it. It's 2 factors. How good you are at this, what is your mastery at it, and then how much do you actually like doing the certain skill. So basically you want to then find that skill online. Once you've picked, let's say, you know, you've picked, you know, you're at 10 mastery on writing and you like, you know, you're at 8 on how much you like doing it, then that's the skill. Later on I'll give you guys a flow basically of how to see that. But then once you have that, once you've picked that skill, you want to find and research that skill online on different job sites to see if people are actually hiring. You want to again verify that people are actually looking for exactly your skill set. You don't want to blindly just start you know, you don't want to blindly just start doing a skill or learning a skill that isn't actually in demand. So this is kind of a quadrant that I've created, so it's easy for you to narrow down what skill you want to do working from home. So here, let me grab the highlighter thingy. So here, basically, we have 4 things. So at the bottom here, basically those skills that you're not really good at, so that's why it's a smaller wrench, and you don't really love, you just want to avoid. You want to just say, okay, I'm not good at this. I'm just not going to focus on this. Because even if you have a little bit inkling, but you really don't like it, it's going to hurt you in the long run to keep trying to do this skill. It has to be something that is sustainable for you. That's why you want to pick a skill that is something that you naturally already like doing, even though it's a little bit of a curiosity. If it's a bit as an interest, that already helps. But if you have something where it's a higher skill for you, you know, it's 5 to 10 in the level, then you want to teach others the skill, because you don't like it as much. Then other people, you're going to eventually find other people who love it, who probably master it faster than you have. So that's why you want to teach others this skill, if you're really good at it but you don't really love it. And then if there's a skill that you really love and you really really want to learn how to do it, but you're not that good at it yet, just kind of have this in the back burner as something you want to keep improving on. And then lastly, of course, if you're really good at it and you really love it, not, it doesn't have to be really love it, even just 6 is enough. You want to focus here, you want to look at it, you want to learn it, you want to really hone your talent for it. So for example, for me, this one is just writing. Like sometimes I write the newsletters that I send you guys at like 11 p.m. and I'm super tired, I'm super dead, but I can still write 500 words out of my head. So that's how much I love writing. That's how much I've mastered that skill. So that is it for me. For me, a higher skill that I do have, but I don't really like doing, is actually WordPress, because it takes so much of my time and that's something that I don't want to focus on. So I'm teaching others this skill. Anytime someone asks me for advice on WordPress, I'm able to help them out. Here is work on improving this skill. For me, this is video editing, because I do love video editing, but I'm not the best at it. So that is something that I want to keep improving on. And basically the things that I want to avoid, because I'm not good at it and I'm not really super interested, is things like messenger chatbots, or basically things that take a lot of math. I know some of you guys can relate to this, of there's just some things that you're not good at and you don't like, so just avoid it. Just don't pressure yourself, don't push yourself to learn something that you don't even like. Exactly what Nizzy says, focus on your strengths, focus on the thing that you already like doing. So I want to ask you guys, and hopefully you guys have this answer, because I did ask this inside of the email, is what skill are you starting with online? Let me know in the chat While again, I pause and drink more water. Stay hydrated, guys. I do have 2 liters of water here, so yeah. Okay, so for Nisley, it's virtual speaking and coaching. That's awesome because that's so narrowed down already, and that's something that you can do online. If you guys research, there's a ton of people who are paying for online speakers and also coaches. So yeah, let me know, guys, in the chats. I'm gonna check YouTube if there's any chat on there that I probably have missed. So we just have one from earlier. So yeah, let me know, guys, what you want to do working online. What do you want to be hired for, basically? Okay, so we have Rue says virtual assistant or graphic designer. Suti wants to be an author, like story writing. That's awesome. That's basically also, if you want to be an author, it is, you can either be an author who self-publishes their own book, or you can be a ghostwriter. I've actually worked as a ghostwriter before. I wrote like 10 chapters for someone else, and got paid for that. So that's actually one of the things that I was able to do. Start to learn online bookkeeping. That's awesome. A lot of people are switching to having their whole business online, so that makes sense. Strawberry says graphic designer. That's awesome. Okay, so um, okay, so ghostwriting, I'm just gonna go this super quick. Ghostwriting is basically you write it, but it's not gonna be published under your name. You're basically like I said, I've done this a couple times where you write something, like you write an article, but then when it's published, it's someone else's name, whoever paid you. So that's what ghostwriting is. You're writing for them because they don't have the time. So yeah, I got paid $10 to $20 ghostwriting for someone else. I'm writing like 200 word to 500 word articles. So that's definitely something you guys can do. Okay, next is something that you guys said earlier that you don't have yet, which is now building your portfolio. So a portfolio, if you guys have no idea what it is, portfolio is a collection of all of your past works that you can now send to potential employers. That's what a portfolio is. It's basically the proof that you can actually do what you say that you can do. So it can mean a lot of different things. So it could be, if you're a graphic artist or you're an aspiring graphic artist, it's having one folder where you can find all, or your employer can find all of the other graphics that you have already created. Or if you're a writer, it's fine having a, maybe a blog or posting it on Medium. I'll give examples in a little bit, but that's what it basically looks like. So first thing is, you guys want to choose a platform to showcase your portfolio. So like I said, if you're a writer, you can use sites like Medium. Medium is free. You sadly, there's a, if I remember, there's a clause somewhere that once it's published on Medium, they can advertise it however they want. So it's a little bit of not totally yours anymore, but I still use it because I put my content everywhere. So that's one place. Another place that you guys can start posting articles, if you're a writer, is LinkedIn. I've posted a lot of my articles on LinkedIn, or if you have your own blog like I do. If you're a graphic artist, it could be posting it on Instagram. Well, posting like your artwork on Instagram. You probably guys have followed some sort of Artstagram, that's what it's called, right? Where people post like the graphics that they have done, the videos that they've done. If you want to be a video editor, Pinterest is also another way that, or another place that you can put your portfolio. And if you are, again, video editor, you can upload your videos into YouTube. So for you guys, like an example of a perfect example of a portfolio is, go to liamlai.com and you guys are able to see all of the articles I've written. If you guys want my portfolio as a video editor, all of the videos until video 70 has been edited by me. The rest has been edited by my awesome assistant. As a graphic artist, my portfolio is basically my Instagram, because I have created different graphics. I've created, infographics inside of Instagram. So that is my portfolio. So as you guys can see, I have so many different skills that I have showcased them in one way or the other. That's how you build and create your portfolio, by using different platforms, even though it's not your own. The next way that you can build your portfolio is to practice. What I mean by practice is you guys can sign up. I do have a 5-day portfolio challenge, which is basically just go to leonite.com/create challenger. It's a 5-day challenge where I give you guys prompts on how to create your portfolio. But basically, the point of that is to use different things on your in your life to create that, if you've never done it before. And then the other way that you can build your portfolio is to offer free work. A lot of my students, one-on-one students that I have had, what I do is I literally just tell them, okay, now you want to work with podcasters, add yourself into different podcaster Facebook groups and say, hey, I am a video editor or I am an audio editor, I'm building my portfolio, who wants to have me edit 20 minutes of their podcast? And I'm like, I ensure you, because you're basically doing free work, a lot of people are going to be approaching you, are going to be working with you. And the point of that is you are now having a lot of work. You're doing it for free, but you're doing it to build up your experience. You're doing it to also, in the long run, if you guys are smart about it, building up testimonials, building up the collection of the testimonials of the people that you've worked with that you can now add as also part of your portfolio. So that is what offering free work means, is don't do it all. Don't do like 50 in one go. Probably set a limit of 10 or 20. But the point of it is when you are building out your portfolio, you want to get to the point where you have a good size, at least, there's not really a number, like 10 images if you're a graphic artist, 5 articles if you're a writer, something like that, where you can now just start showing potential employees, like, here is what I've done before. So I want to ask, I know some of you guys said earlier that a lot of you don't have a portfolio, but who does? Who here does have a portfolio that they can show potential employers? I'd love to know. Okay. I'm just going on my YouTube again if there's anyone who's missing anything. But I think most of you guys don't have a portfolio. If let me know if you guys do, then feel free to send it over to me, because I would love to give you guys feedback or help you guys improve it in any way. But yeah, that's how you build your portfolio. Next thing is your resume. And you guys have asked me about this earlier as well, which is basically your resume is kind of, you can think of your resume as your Facebook profile. It's how people will get to know you. It's how people will find you and get to know what you do and what you can do for them. That's the important part of your resume, is why am I going to hire this person? That's basically the answer that your resume will answer. So the first thing is go to Canva. So you guys can go use my link. It's leonlay.com/Canva. You guys can sign up. I will get a percentage of it. So if you guys want to support me in that way, feel free to use that link. But basically, you want to also go, next thing is you want to choose a template. And then you want to make sure that your contact information is up to date. And you want to remove unnecessary info. And then just keep it updated. So that's how easy creating a resume is. Like, I remember when I first created a resume, again, I was 15, and I had to basically just really create it from scratch on Microsoft Word, because there wasn't a thing as Google Docs before. There wasn't any way that I could create an actual thing on Paint. I think I tried to use Paint. If you guys remember Paint, that's what I used. So yeah, that was really weird and difficult for me. But now you guys can just go to Canva and choose templates. You guys can search on Canva search bar for a template on a resume, and you guys will find a lot of really good ones. So here are a few essentials when you are creating your resume. This is a fake number. Don't try to contact me there. Basically, you want to make sure that your name is clear and bold. You don't want them to be confused of who you are, especially if they're looking at a ton of resumes. You want to make sure that your job title is clear. What job title do you want? You can't leave that blank, because they might be hiring for multiple positions and your resume might end up in the wrong pile. So you want to make sure that it's clear. Your objective or your intro, if you guys got the email last night, was it last night? 2 nights ago, where I talked about like the one thing, how to create your intro. It's basically making sure that you tell people what it is that you want to do, why you want to be hired by them. And again, make sure that the contact info is relevant and up to date. Also, you don't want to put a number that you're not anymore using, and if they wanted to call you, they can't call you because it's the wrong number. So just keep that in mind. So here are a few examples of different resumes that you guys can create inside of Canva. This is mine. These are from 2 of my other students before. And again, you guys can keep it super simple, or you guys can make it really pretty or complicated, up to you. You just have to be able to make sure that once the employer sees your resume, they know who you are, what you want to do, and what you want to be hired for. Those are the different things that you want to ensure. Now, does this help for the people who said earlier that they don't have a resume? Stuti, I remember you said that you don't know how to create a resume. Does this help, knowing that you guys can just create it using a template inside of Canva, knowing that it can be as easy as these different types of resumes that you can see here? Does this help? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, so Stuti says yes. Again, reminding you guys, I'm going to go through all of the chat history later, and the person who has the most sensical chat is going to be winning something. Okay, so Jenny, you raised your hand. Feel free to drop in the chat if you have any question. I can just see that you raised your hand. Yeah. Let me know again if you guys have any questions, and then we'll cover them a little bit later. Next is now branding. I know you guys, a lot of people said here that you guys don't have your quote unquote proper branding yet. So hopefully we'll be able to cover that tonight and help you guys out get started. Okay, no worries, Jenny. Okay, so first thing that you guys want to make sure is you want to have a proper photo. If you guys go through all of my social media, a lot of it shows my face. Most of it is professional. It's except for my currently my Facebook account, because it was just my birthday last Sunday. So I took a couple of birthday photos. So that's what currently my profile photo is. But usually it's pretty formal. It's pretty just my face. It represents it has my brand colors. It has sometimes my logo even on it. So that's what a proper photo is. It's basically, it's going to be waist up. That's what it is. And you want to make sure that your face is clear. You could be smiling, you could be laughing, as long as they can recognize you if they see you. So thank you, Rue. So that's what I mean with having a proper photo. You can have one photo for all of your social media. You can do that. But if you really want to take control of your branding, you really need to control what you're going to be posting. If you want to be someone who is known as a social media manager, you can't be posting, I don't know, a lot of really weird videos of conspiracies. I have no idea. It's up to you guys what you want to post, but keep in mind that whatever you post right now, that is your branding. Whether you like it or not, that is your branding. If you're a person who likes to post about your dog, you are that dog person. If you're a person who likes to post about food, you are known as the person who they hate when they're hungry. So basically just keep that in mind, that is part of your branding. Is first your photo base. That's the first thing that they will see, especially if you're using Instagram stories or Facebook stories. That's the thing that they see when they're scrolling through. Next is your headline. Basically your headline is just how do you want people to know you. So it could be your job skill. It also could be your intro from earlier from your resume. Could be anything, but basically how do you want people to know you? So for your headline or your intro, basically it could be as short as this: as I aim to create result for niche through skill. So for example, for me, for our outsourcing agency, I aim to free up and double. This was the old one that we had, so it's the first thing that comes in my mind. I aim to free up the time and double the revenue for content creators, for authors, and for basically business owners through my skills as someone who has been outsourcing in the last 5 years, been hiring and outsourcing in the last 5 years, to be able to get them an effective executive assistant. So that is my aim. As a virtual ate, I aim to create a work from home career for content creators through my skills as a coach and someone who has started multiple businesses online. So that is my headline. So that's how I want people to know me. Next is, of course, you want to have a proper bio of who you are, what your background is. You want to have the same username or link to everything. So you probably, if you guys have seen my slide earlier, all of it is Lian Laila Haba. My YouTube is the only thing that's different, mostly because I did have an old YouTube account. It was Lian Laila Haba, but when I started having other people helping me out, like my assistant, I had to change into a new channel for some reason by YouTube. So I had to change my name as well. So it's now Lian Laila Haba VA, as in virtual ate. So yeah, but everything else, like my Facebook, my Instagram, my Pinterest, I think also like my Tumblr and LinkedIn, all of it is Lian Laila Haba. So that way it's easier for people to find you with having the same username. So that's part of your brand. And then, of course, having a good, proper photo. Now, Rue asks a very good question. So basically, branding is your theme that you choose for yourself. Yes. And the important thing to remember is your brand can change anytime. Like I said, I started with the Imperfect Princess when I was 15. I became the traveling pygmy when I turned 20 because I was traveling a lot and wanted to start a travel blog. And now you guys know me as the virtual ate. So you can change your theme anytime you want, but you have to be consistent enough that people know who you are just by looking at your profile. So you guys will be able to see, like, if you Google my name, and I'm super lucky that my parents named me this way. If you guys Google my name, it's basically all the same. Like, you guys will be able to see that I've been an author. I've published my own books. I was 18 when I published these books. It's my website, it's my LinkedIn, because I have made sure that all of the information that I have in all of the sites, in all the social media, have my name in the same way. So that's why it's super important that you, again, take control, take charge of your branding, or else someone might do it for you. So just keep that in mind. So I want to ask you guys, and you can drop in a chat, what branding do you want to be known for? Who do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known for, like, one funny example is in high school, I was known as the writer. I was known as someone who was really good at writing. So some people would pay me to do their homework. Well, not really their homework, because we had homework where you had to think of titles, you had to think of a quote basically that you supposed to have made up yourself, but people would pay me small amounts of money because we were in high school, but people would pay me to do a little bit of their project or their homework because people knew me as a writer. So yeah, Mia, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I'll flash my social media again later so you guys can connect with me there. But yeah, what do you guys want to be known for in your branding on your social media? What is it? Let me know in the comments, because I would actually also love to know. I would love to know, who do you guys want to be known for? Okay. Next is step 7, which is the one that you guys are probably looking forward to, is now start applying. Stuti says that she wants to be known as a chef and an author. That's awesome. Okay, so whoops, I clicked a couple of buttons that you guys don't see, but hopefully it's fine. So where do you actually want to find jobs? So now that you guys have your skill, you've picked your skill, but we'll go all the way back. You guys have the goal, you guys have your tools, you've picked your skill, you have your portfolio, you have your resume, you have some sort of a brand. Like Strawberry says, yes, finally my question. Where do you actually find these jobs? How do you actually start applying for different jobs working online? Now, there's an infinite places that I can recommend to you guys, but for the purposes of this masterclass and not taking too long of your guys' time, because you guys have given me so much of your time already, first thing you guys can do is you guys can grab the list that I have. It's 20 places that I have researched myself where you can start applying for jobs. You can go to liamlai.com/20 places. And obviously there's 20 places that you guys can apply for. I've even divided it up to different skills. Like if you're a content creator, you apply here. If you're a graphic artist, you apply here. If you're a writer, you apply here. So just go up. You can go out and sign up for that maybe after the masterclass. But that's one place that you can start already looking for. Again, these are places that I have researched myself. Didn't apply to all of them, but I did my research and I'm very thorough with my research. And then basically you will need your application letter, and it basically when you start applying. Okay, before that, so I'll go to a little bit on the 20 places. One of the fastest places that you guys can probably find a job is Facebook groups. I've said this already a little bit, but I didn't really dive into it. But when you use Facebook groups, you add yourself into the groups of the people you want to be hired for. So let's say you want to be hired by YouTubers. You're a video editor, you want to be hired by YouTubers. Makes sense, right? Add yourselves into those groups. Be nice. Don't spam. Don't say, hey, I'm a video editor looking for a job. You want to start looking. You can use the search bar in a Facebook group, but you want to start looking for job posts. You want to start looking like, if someone is looking for a virtual assistant, or because people will post like, people say, hey, any recommendations on a video editor, anyone here a virtual assistant? I have, because I'm just part of a lot of different entrepreneur groups, I can see almost at least 4 times a day, I will see a post where it's related to hiring, where it's related to, hey, anyone can recommend a blank. So start adding yourselves into these groups, because they don't have an age minimum. Even if you're 15 like Stuti, you can start looking at those different job groups. There's also Facebook groups dedicated for home-based jobs. You guys can add yourselves there, where it's usually agencies or usually companies who are looking for a virtual assistant, a graphic artist, whatever it is that you're trying to be hired for. So that's kind of the capsulated where to find jobs. If you don't want to download my 20 places to get hired for, that's my one place that I highly, highly recommend that you guys start looking, is Facebook groups. Okay. Next is you need, I'll answer it, because the other questions that we have, we already passed it, so I'll answer you guys' questions later. Don't worry. Is your application letter. So your application letter, when you're sending that in, a lot of people use PDFs, but I really recommend just having it inside of the email when you're sending it out, because like for me, as someone who's seen so many application letters, I don't like opening too many tabs. And when because I usually do like open the PDF in the next tab so I can see it clearly. So as much as possible, just have it inside of the email. And customize, what I mean by customized subject line is make sure that your subject line is different than everyone else. How you can do that is you can use your last name and then like the job that you're trying to apply for. Because the thing with having the same subject line as other people, your email actually gets buried in that person's email. So if someone else emailed the same thing, the same subject line, you are seen as a reply by Gmail. So then your application might never be seen. Also, it's a headache for the person who's going through the application. So as much as possible, have a customized subject line, make it sure that it's addressed to the HR. So do a little bit of research who the HR is, or hiring manager is, and have a good opening and call to action. So good opening could just be your intro sentence, like, my name is Stuti. I am a aspiring author who wants to help you generate more content with my writing, something like that. But make sure it's straight to the point of what you're trying to be hired for and what you can do for them. Call to action is basically, I'm looking forward at the end of it. I'm looking forward to hopping on a call or hopping on an interview with you, or I'm looking forward to the next steps of the application. That's what it is. That's what the call to action is. You're showing that you are willing to take the next step forward. Next is you want to track your application. Like I said, at the end of it, you guys are getting the virtual ate toolkit where I'll have the templates that you guys will need, and also this sheet of how to track your applications. And as much as possible, follow up. A lot of people fail here. One of the tests that I do myself as I hire different people is at the end of the interview, I'll tell them, oh, can you follow up on Friday on your application, just in case I forget to give you an update. I don't forget to give people an update, but it's for me a test if they actually want the job. So if you want to get the job and you haven't heard from them in 3 days, try to follow up. I say 3 days because they might have been busy, your application might have been buried, or worse, your application might have never been seen. So when you follow up using the same email that you send them towards, it bumps your email up on their inbox. So that's why you really want to follow up as much as you can. So are you guys ready to start applying? Hopefully that helped a lot. Again, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about tonight is just the basics, because if I talk to you guys about everything, your brains probably explode. That's why I'm only covering just the basics. But yes, yay, Rue says that she's ready to start applying. Awesome. Hey, next is then the next step is doing the interviews. So the next step is basically being confident during interviews. That's the next step when you are applying or having your first side gig. So once you send out an email, you got a reply, they'll say, yeah, we'll schedule an interview this and this time, blah, blah, blah. These are the things that you have to keep in mind. So first thing is pause. So I made this into an acronym that you guys can remember super easily. First thing is pause. So what I mean by pause is don't forget to breathe. I've had interviews with people where they forget to actually breathe, and I tell them, breathe, relax. It's okay. I'm not going to bite you. I'm in a Zoom call, so I won't be able to reach you. So remember to pause, to breathe, smile. You can, I've been using this whole time, if you guys haven't noticed, I've been using the pause to drink more water, or just by asking for more time to answer a question. You know, if they ask you a particularly difficult question, I'm so sorry if I'm eating my words sometimes. You want to say, hey, can I ask for more time to answer that question? Can we proceed to the next question? It's basically doing that, of not letting yourself get stuck in that point. Next is you want to use examples as much as you can. You want to example, you want to explain, you want to give them more. So try to insert an example related to the question. So for example, let's say they'll tell you, what's the last book that you've read? Sometimes it's not enough to just say, oh, I read, the last book that I read was Harry Potter. It could be, oh, I just finished rereading Harry Potter. I try to read it once a year because it's such a fun book for me. It's such a good way to relax. So yeah, that's the last thing that I read. So it's just doing that. It's just giving them more of you, because that's the whole point of an interview. And the interview is kind of like a first date. I say that a lot, but the interview is kind of like a first date where you're getting to know them and they're getting to know you, because you're going to be in a relationship. So try to imagine as that. If you're really one-worded, if you don't try to explain a lot of the things, the interview will come off as one-sided. It will also come off as dry. So you want to give that examples to kind of just give yourself more up. Next is clarity, which is have a central point. I've seen so many interviewees who go round and round, but they don't really have a point. They don't really have a place where they're going to land. So as much as possible, when you're answering a question, try to have already an anchor that you will go back to. So let's say the question is, tell me about yourself. So if you're going to be applying for a certain job, let's say you're applying as a marketing assistant, you want to have your anchor, your center, to be about being a marketing assistant. So all of the stories that you're going to be telling them is how you became a marketing assistant, how you mastered it, blah, 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 how your experience was, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I mean with having a central point. And then lastly is knowledge. For the love of God, please research the company that you're about to do an interview with. This is something that is a little bit frustrating sometimes, is if they have no idea what they're even trying to apply for. So research the company, to get to know them, have good questions if you have questions about them, about their company, because it really does help you. It really does help you get further and be memorable when you're doing interviews, because that's the whole point of doing an interview, is being memorable. Like in the last week, I've had 5 interviews, only 2 of them were memorable. That's kind of the truth of it. So try to be someone who stands out by doing PEC. So this is basically the acronym now, is PEC. It's pause, examples, clarity, and knowledge. This is now the sequence that you guys can follow, that you guys can go through when you guys are doing interviews, is PEC. So before you even jump into an interview with someone, try to have a little bit knowledge about what their company does, who might be interviewing you. Like I had one of the memorable interviews that I had this week was, she said, oh yeah, I actually have watched your videos on YouTube. I'm like, that's awesome. So that's how that's how you stand out. Like in my head, she stands out because she told that to me. She told me that. Sorry. And like in my head, I'm like, she's someone who researches the people that she's going to be talking to. So that stands out. So yeah, that's just remember to PEC. That's hopefully will be memorable for you guys the next time that you do a job interview. So the step 9 is to create habits. So once you have a job, hopefully soon, hopefully either by tomorrow, you guys can start applying for jobs, and by next week you'll have one, is to create habits. So creating habits is basically having a morning routine, having time blocking, and I'll explain all of this in a little bit. It's having a movement habit, study habit, and a rest habit. So what I mean by all of this is you need to now start growing that discipline. I mentioned this earlier, that when it comes to working from home, it needs a lot of discipline, especially if you're not someone who's used to it, because you're not, again, going to a physical office where you're leaving the house, you're just at home. So what a morning routine looks like is, how do you get yourself up? How do you get yourself into your office, even though you're still your bedroom, and get yourself working? So for example, my morning routine is to get up, I stretch. That's just how to wake myself up and get my body moving. And then I try to meditate. I meditate every day. Don't just try. Meditate. I do journaling. I do my face routine thingy, because I have to do that now that I'm doing a lot of YouTube videos. And then I get to work. And when I sit down, I basically try to do the fast tasks first, and then I get into difficult tasks within the first hour that I'm working, because I want to get my brain moving. So that's my morning routine. So you want to set that up already for yourself, so you know that you just get yourself started. You're not going to sleep your way through noon. You have something that will get you up. Next is time blocking, which is basically just categorizing all of your tasks into a certain time that you're going to be doing them. So for example, for my virtual athlete tasks or my coaching tasks, I try to do them every 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right before I go to bed. So it's not too stimulating for my brain, because then you guys get 11 p.m. newsletters from me. And then I have a movement habit, which is working out or doing squats if I've been sitting for too long, or it could be a lot of different things. But the point is to move your body in some way, because that's where the back problems happen. I've had, before I got my movement habit, I had backaches a lot of the time because I'd be sitting for a long period of time. Study habit is basically, how do you want to grow? That's the whole point of this study habit, is how do you want to grow? How do you want to further yourself moving forward? And then the last thing is the rest habit, which is basically making sure that you make time for yourself, making sure that you make time to recharge, to grow yourself, and to breathe or to pause from PEC. So hopefully that explains a lot of that to you guys. I gave you a little bit of what my own habits are, but the point of having habits is now to have that work-life balance, because it's sometimes super hard to get a work-life balance when you're working from home, since you can wake up, work, and then go to sleep. So that is kind of why I really have this as part of the steps to be able to get your first side gig. So which habit are you willing to start doing now? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat, not comments, chat, which one of these 5 you guys want to start doing. Let me know, as I do want to know, because I want to see where your guys' brains are at, if you're still alive, if you guys are still here. So we have movement habit, we have time blocking. Awesome. Yes. It's funny because I just taught time blocking to someone who has been working online for 3 years, 3 to 5 years. She's one of my one-on-one coaching clients, and she's like, this has changed my life. This has changed my time management skills. I'm so much more productive. I get so much done now. So I'm like, cool. And she actually just got promoted last week, which I'm like super happy that she was able to do. So yeah. Suti says morning routine, because I never wake up on time. It's not so much as waking up on time. It's knowing how to wake yourself up. It's taking control of that, of how do you wake yourself up. Is it going to be choosing to be in a good mood, or kind of being a zombie and just doing whatever is in front of you? So it's taking control of that. And Arlene says study habit. Awesome. Okay, so step 10 now is finding mentors. And this is something that I highly recommend that you guys do, because this will just help accelerate everything that you guys are trying to do. It's finding mentors. You're not going to be, in the dark. Someone will give you the light, basically. So basically, when you're trying to find mentors, you want to ask them 2 questions, or ask yourself 2 questions. Do they have what you want, and have they been where you are? Now, the second question is actually more important than the first one. Is basically, when you're trying to look at mentors, you already have your goal, right? So for example, for me, when I started all of this, my goal was not to be working in an office. So my mentors were people who were journalists, because they were always traveling. They were always off and about. This was when I was still 15. And have they been where you are is basically the question of, have they gone through what I'm currently going through, or what I'm about to go through? Because a lot of the time we follow people, we get mentors of people who have actually had either more privilege, or people who have more who had more control over the life more than you do. So for example, an example I usually use, if you want to get rich, first person that you want to think of, and it's a little bit political a little bit, but it's the example that I usually use, is you want to get rich, you think of Donald Trump, right? And this was an example I used to use before he got president, by the way. But if you want to get rich, you follow Donald Trump. But if you look at his history, he has had things that in his life has helped him get there faster that you probably don't have. He probably didn't have to go through living in a third world country where he had to really struggle and get learning himself what he had to do. So a person that you could follow maybe is Robert Kiyosaki, who did have to learn a lot of the financial knowledge that he has from other people. So he followed mentors. So you want to really think about who can I follow, who has, again, has what I want, because that's important. But the second part, like I said, the second question is more important than the first one, because have they been where you are? Have they gone through the things that you are about to go through, or has at least kind of a similar background as you? Because it's easier to follow someone, their steps, if they know what you're going through, if they know that what you're struggling through. So that's why it's so important to have these two questions when you find a mentor. So I want to ask you guys, based on the skill that you guys want to do, based on the things that you want to do in life, who is your mentor? Who's someone that you follow, maybe on YouTube, on Facebook? Who's someone that you want to kind of emulate? Who's someone who you really look up to, someone that you want to maybe be friends with? So let me know in the comments. I'm going to be doing a little bit of stretching because my back is starting to hurt. So I'm going to disappear a little bit. Whoops, from the camera. Whoops, if I don't kick it down because I've been sitting for too long. Yeah, let me know who is your guys' mentor. If I look weird, I apologize, but my back a little hurts. Okay, so that's a super important question, Rue. How do you find a mentor? So a mentor doesn't have to be a person that you know in person. It could be someone that you just follow online. So, for example, for me, when I was really narrowing down my content, I followed Gary Vaynerchuk because a lot of what he teaches is something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to be, I called myself a content monster. So, I wanted to create as many content as the same way that he did. So that's who I followed. I don't know him in person. I bought a couple of his books. I watched a lot of his YouTube videos. So it doesn't have to be someone that you know in person, but if you want it to be someone you know in person, you can ask around. You can ask for recommendations from other people of like, hey, I want to learn this skill. Who can mentor me? Who can help me out? Some mentors will say probably yes if they have the time, but some might say no. So that's just something to keep in mind. Suki says YouTuber named Ree. I love her. She's a chef right now. She's one of the producers of Tasty. So that's perfect. That's a perfect example of a basically, since you want to be a chef, that's a perfect example of who to follow. Strawberry says you follow Demi Bernice. Actually, we know one of our participants there, Nizzy, actually knows Demi. And Arlene says, hopefully me. Yay! Thank you. Okay, so we are kind of done, but I want to ask you guys, do you actually want to, since some of you said me, who wants to, my guide on how to work from home? Who wants to help basically have me be your guide, be your light throughout this whole thing? So we have Strawberries that are very, very quote unquote loud yes. By the way, again, guys, if you stick around until the end, I am giving away a virtual Ate toolkit, which basically has all of the links that I've mentioned also today, and also we'll have templates that you guys can use. Also, I'll be asking a lot of your questions. And again, for those who are tuning in, who are still starting to tune in, if you guys participate a lot in the chat, I'll be giving away something cool at the end of it. I'll just go through the chats. It'll probably take me a little bit longer to go through all of the chats, but I'll be giving away something very cool. So for those, because a lot of people have been saying here, and yes, and even Nisley says that I'm one of the coolest mentors. That's good to know. Basically, I want to invite you guys to the Work Anywhere Challenge. Now, for those of you who've been following me for a while, the Work Anywhere Challenge is the 10-day process that I go through with a group of people on how to work online. This is the whole thing. So basically, it starts on October 12th. So it starts next Monday, where I'll go through like goal setting. I'll go through the tools with you. So I have this calendar here. So the 12th is goal setting, 13 tools, skills, and the niche, how to create your resume and your cover letter, how to create your online portfolio, your branding, your job application, your confident interviews, your habits, and going full-time and beyond. So I'm really giving it to you guys. Sally, this is an older poster, and I should have updated it, but basically it'll include live coaching every Monday. So I'll be able to answer you guys' questions. I'll give you guys feedback on your resume and application letter on how to improve them. And at the end of it, you also get a certificate of completion. And if you guys miss a class, all of this is actually a course that you guys can watch at any time. It's kind of at your own pace, but the group coaching is going to be only limited. So that's the thing that you guys want to take advantage an advantage of as much as possible. And basically, that's 4 modules, which is basically the first part is, let's get started. Module 2 is baby steps towards freedom. Module 3 is getting the job. And then module 4 is digital nomad life. So that's the whole process of the Work Anywhere Challenge. It also include a workbook. Basically every day there's going to be a workbook that you guys get to make sure that you go through all of everything. And again, I'll give you feedback. Like this is a recording of me going through, well, my own LinkedIn, but any social media accounts, any resume that you guys want me to check, I'll be more than happy to do that. And because you guys are watching now, you guys have the chance to become to win. I don't know why become is there, to win a scholarship for the Work Anywhere Challenge if this is something that you guys want to do. These are my past students. A lot of them, we've had 3 batches now, which is awesome. All of them have jobs. That's just the awesome thing. Either all of them have jobs or are now leveling up and doing another thing, or one of them have even started their own agency, which blows my mind. So this is something that if you guys are really interested in starting to work from home, it's possible. It's something that you can definitely start just doing. So if you guys are ready in the challenge, like I mentioned earlier, we have the Let's Get Started module, which is goal setting, tools that you need, picking out your skill in your niche. It's so it's really like, this is a very watered down version, like the whole masterclass that I did, because we do have a limited number of time, but this will go really deep into more. Baby steps towards freedom is upgrading your skills. Actually, this is now your resume, and then we're going to be building out your portfolio. So I'm going to give you guys feedback. I'm going to give you guys prompts. I'm going to give you guys basically everything you need to get started. A lot of the previous students got a job on day 5, which was crazy for me because they were so advanced, but they were going through the videos. But by the day 5 of the whole challenge, they already had a potential job. We'll also be going through your social media branding and then applying for the job, the interview training. So I'll give you guys answers to the most common interview questions. So that's actually one of the things that I do. And of course, giving you guys all of the information you need once you have that first gig, how to now have one moving forward. One of the things that I cover in the branding video is basically how to set up your social media to get to the point where you are now getting clients without a lot of effort. I still, until now, I still get people trying to recruit me, even though I have my own business and I say it in my profile, people are still trying to recruit me for their businesses. I have had at least 3 this week of people who just, hey, are you interested in writing for my blog? Are you interested? Because I have my profile social media set up way back before in all of this. So that is something that I'm eventually, hopefully you guys will be able to get to that point. So wait, I can't see my own slides because I have your guys' chat. So basically the Work Anywhere Challenge, again, it's the goal is to get you guys to have that digital nomad life, to have the freedom to work anywhere. That's why that's the name. You will have the actual master classes and coaching. You guys will have the feedback on your resume, your portfolio, your social media profiles, the workbook, and you will you will get access to the Instagram course that I made on Udemy. It's currently priced at $200 or 10,000 pesos, but you guys will get free access to that. That's basically me giving a really crash course version of how to use Instagram. It's not too updated since Instagram did a lot of updates, but it's still pretty relevant and something you guys can get started on. And again, you guys will also get the templates for the application letters, the resumes, and the email replies that you guys can now start using when you're talking to your client. Now, one thing is you guys also get the live coaching, the once a week live coaching with me. Again, that's every Monday, and Q&A with me. So at any time you guys have a question, I'm literally just one button away. I'm just literally one chat away during the whole challenge. If you guys want me to hop on a call with me, I can do like 15-minute calls with different people just to give you guys more of the clarity that you guys need as you start getting your job online. Now, it's usually priced at $299.7 because of everything that you guys are going to get. Plus, and a lot of my students can attest to this, once you're my student, you're kind of my student forever. You kind of can get my advice at any time. You guys can get my feedback anytime. So it could be more than this. Like, imagine if you guys got a job tomorrow and it's 15,000 pesos, you guys already gotten your money back. So this is originally what it's currently priced. And right now, to everyone else, and some people have already bought, like I already have a couple of students, I only have a few slots left. who bought at 1497. So this is kind of the early bird price. But for you guys, because you guys are here, you guys hang out with me, you guys have talked to me, I know you guys a little bit better. For tonight, just for basically until Sunday, I'm pricing this at 1297 for anyone who is going to be signing up before, who is here. Like I said, I took note of everyone who's here. I can see your guys' chats. That's why I really wanted you guys to chat me. I'll take a screenshot later of who's here, basically. But I can just ask Christina, who's here, my awesome assistant, can you take note of who's here? So then later on, I can check like who is actually here. And you guys will be able to get this at 1297 right now. And again, you always have a choice. You have two choices. You can take everything that I've taught you tonight, and you can do it yourself. You can start applying for jobs. You can create your resume through Canva. You can start creating your habits. You can start just doing your own branding based on what I talked about tonight. Or you can do it with me. Which way do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to do it yourself, or do you guys want to do it with me? Let me know in the chat if this is something you guys want. Because as you can see, I'm talking a little bit faster because I'm getting super excited. So let me know. You guys want to do? You always have a choice. You guys can go back and just watch my YouTube videos, or tune in on my newsletter, or look at my blog, and you can do it yourself, or you can do it with me. Of course, a lot of people are already saying doing it with me. So if you guys are interested in signing up, yes, Jenny, yes, you did sign up a few days ago. You got the early bird price, not the price that people are getting now. You guys can sign up. Again, it's going to be starting this Monday, October 12th, until the 26th, because it's going to be the graduation day. And you guys can basically, these are the different modes of payment that you guys can go through. You guys, just a ton of payments that you guys, mode of payment. You guys can take a picture of this right now, and then you guys can fill out the form afterwards. You can enroll through, basically, I'll drop this in the chat of leonlai.com/paid WAC, or we call it WAC. That's how, oops, I only chatted that accidentally to one person. Okay. Okay, so I've just been informed that the BDO option is not available, so don't pay through BDO. Just pay through either my Unibank or Metrobank, or through GCash. So yeah, hopefully I'm super excited to help you guys out, to get you guys started. By the way, if you guys miss all of the payment methods, I did put this inside of the form on there where to enroll. And yeah, these are the past students that I've gotten. These we have fun names for each batch, basically, based on the place that they voted on. So the first batch was Work Anywhere Amsterdam. We have Work Anywhere Barcelona, and Work Anywhere Canada. That way I know which batch each person was from. And if you guys notice, like the group here, we had 30. We had 30 students on the first one, but as the next ones, I only limited it to a few people. I'm not going to say the number, because then I was able to give really specific feedback. When we had 30 students in the start, I got really overwhelmed with the number of resumes I had to go through, and with fewer students basically that I got, I was able to really concentrate and fully help them every step of the way. So that's why I'm only going to be giving this out to only limited slots. So if you guys are still here, and I see most of you are still here, I'm now going to be chatting the link to the toolkit. So it's literally just this. It's only you guys who are in Zoom will be able to get that. And again, that will have templates, that will have the links that all of the links that I mentioned tonight are going to be there. You guys will have access to the slides all of the slides that I have here, so you guys can go back at any time. And if you guys want to become a Work Anywhere Challenge Scholar, I'm going to be picking one person. Basically, just go to mia.com/WAC Scholar, and I'm going to be picking a winner on Sunday. Just make sure that you guys inside the virtual tribe, because that's where I'll be announcing the person. And for the person, because it's now the end, for the person who has chatted the most, you guys are getting a 30-minute free coaching call with me. So to the person who has chatted the most, I'm not sure who you are yet. You guys are going to be getting a free 30-minute consultation coaching call with me. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to see where you're at. You're basically getting a shortcut from me. So hopefully you guys chatted enough inside that when we do the tally of who chatted a lot, you guys are one of them. And you guys can message me at any time on Facebook. This is my this goes to my page. Just go to leonette.com/messenger, and any questions at all about the Work Anywhere Challenge, about working online. A lot of people every day ask me to review the resume. I don't always, not perfectly, not always, because sometimes I miss them, sometimes I don't. But if you're a student of mine, I can just help you just like that. So yeah, Mia, I'll go through all of the requests for the virtual tribe after this. So I'll make sure to add you in. But yeah, that is where I'm hopefully going to be able to see you guys, to talk to you guys. I'm usually super active on my page, so you guys can message me at any time. So okay, now questions. So I'm going to allow a couple of people to be able to unmute themselves. So okay, so I can basically hear you guys. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna go through. I think we had a couple of questions earlier that I wasn't able to answer right away because it was a little bit different from what we were talking about. But by the way, again, if just showing this to you guys, this is how you sign up. This is how I know you are a student, is if you fill out this form. If you don't fill out this form but you paid, I will sadly have no idea who you are. So please make sure that you fill out that form if you guys already paid. Let me see. Okay, so Rue asks, does a virtual assistant have a portfolio? It depends on what your specialty is. So as a virtual assistant, there's different kinds of specialties that you can do. You could be someone who's an expert at just admin tasks. So your portfolio could be a system of how you clean yourself, clean things up, like how you usually clean inboxes, or how you usually schedule things on a calendar, for example. So that's what a portfolio could look like as a virtual assistant. So again, it will depend on what you're trying to focus on, but that's what it looks like. Strawberry asks, what if you don't have any experience at all? This is actually my specialty. I really specialize on helping people who don't have any experience to work from home. Like I literally took I have a one-on-one student that I'm still going through classes right now, and basically she's 18. She just turned 18 this year. She's only worked on waitress jobs before, and she now has a job where it's only like 10 hours a week, but she gets paid, I can tell you guys how much, but she gets paid a lot to work 10 hours a week as a virtual assistant. And again, before I met her, never worked online, didn't even have a resume. I helped her I actually created her resume for her because she was, again, one-on-one student. And now she has a job. The other day, she did a graphics for someone, did a logo for someone, and she got paid. I can tell you guys this. She got paid about $300, so 15,000 pesos for one graphics job. So this is my specialty. This is what I love to do, is helping people who have no idea how to work from home get jobs working from home. So yeah. So okay, so we have a question. I'm a nurse, and because I want to know what the job would suit for me online. So basically, you just have to choose a skill. That's kind of the easiest way that I can recommend. If you've been working on a quote unquote offline job this whole time, how you want to choose the skill that you want to do is just that, is pick out one of the skills in the PDF that I sent you guys and just start working on it. Start researching, start finding your mentors, start finding ways that you can start working online with that. One of our the first Work Anywhere challenge that we had a pharmacist. And basically she picked a job to become a marketing assistant. She knows a lot. She has now learned a lot about being a digital marketer, and she now has a job lined up for her that's about $800 a month. So that's like 40,000 pesos a month. And again, she didn't really have much experience before that. So it really, that's why I really have the habit of study part of it, because it could really grow super fast online just because of the amount of opportunities that there is. Patricia says, can you be called a VA if you only offer services for SMM? So you're just social media manager. That's what you can call yourself, a VA for sure. But it's mostly easier to get hired when you say that you are a social media manager, because you're more specific. The more specific you are, the easier the employer can think of ways of how they can work better with you, of how you can help them. Okay. Yeah, Strawberry, feel free to already, once you've paid, fill out the form, and then we can basically start adding you into the group and also into the portal where all of the videos are going to be at. So feel free to do just that. Any more questions? Any more curiosities? Also, Layla, just because I have a really funny questions, the current, remember I told you guys earlier that I used to run a publishing company. I was the CEO and I started this company that I now have. The current CEO of the publishing company, who I trained and grew, but she was kick-ass on her own. I didn't really have to do a lot. Is a registered nurse. She's an actual registered nurse, but she didn't want to keep doing that. She had a kid. She wanted to start working from home, and now she's the CEO of a U.S. publishing company. So you can really start doing a lot of different things, even if you have no experience, even if you have no idea also where to start. You just have to pick one direction and start going in that way. Okay. Any more questions? Again, you guys can chat me here. This will redirect you guys to my Facebook page messenger, and you guys can ask me literally any questions there. Okay. So what do you mean? Oh, if you're here live, Strawberry, basically you only have to pay 1,295, 1,297. Wait, let me go through. Forgot the actual price that I put in. So I wanted to give you guys a special. Yeah, 1,297 if you're here live on Zoom. So basically, again, it's only the people who are here live who are able to get this price. If you guys aren't, you guys usually I price it at 1,497. So yeah. Studi asks, what were your mistakes in it? What do you mean by mistakes? In what way? Let me know. Because I can think of so many mistakes that I've done myself. So we have to be a little bit more specific on that. Let me know. Yeah, I think if basically once you let me know, Studi, what that is, we might be able to wrapping up in a little bit because it's already 8:31. I don't want to go past a lot of the things that go overboard. I mean, Patricia asks, how did you overcome self-doubt when you were starting? So I was lucky that I started really young because there weren't a lot of self-doubts because I was super young. I wasn't that super self-conscious. I was, and I still am. I'm still the person who just dives into things. That's just the kind of person that I've become. But the way that I've overcome self-doubt, like the biggest self-doubt that I've gone through was being CEO. I was 19 years old when I became CEO. I had coworkers who were 36, who were 40, who were older than me, more experienced than me, who doubted that I could run a company. And basically the way that I got over it was to do the work, because a lot of the time you can be very self-conscious about not having experience, of not being able to know what to do next. But a lot of the time it's through making mistakes, it's through learning more, it's about finding mentor who can help you out, that you can then really like get over it. It's self-doubt is usually when you're not sure what to do next, and I've definitely gone through that a lot of the time. But the cure that I do is I just do the work. I just get my head down, research, try to find out as much as I can, try to experience as much as I can to get to the point where I'm now getting more and more confident to do things. Like if you guys met me a year ago, my videos were crap. You guys can still probably see it in my Facebook account because that's where I used to post it. And it's all public, by the way, you guys can see it. But my videos were so bad. It was like no lighting. It was just the lighting that I have with my in my room. It was with my phone, but I used my phone until just August lately. That's actually just lately that I got a better camera. But I just kind of powered through. I just kind of kept going. Okay, so Sudi asked basically, what was the mistake when you first started to do a job? You guys will laugh, but basically, it was the part that I charged too low. I only charged $5, $5. No, lower than that, $2 when I first started out. because I didn't know what to do. I was just starting out. I thought 100 pesos was enough, but it was not. So um, yeah, that's one of the first mistakes. The other thing was I really had to learn how to do my own flow when I was writing articles, because that was one thing that I didn't really have a lot, because like I said, I was writing more short stories, more poems. So that was one of the things that I had to really learn, was how to structure articles in a way that it makes sense. So that is one of them. So hopefully that helps, Studi. By the way, that's also one of the things that we do go over in the Work Anywhere Challenge, is how to price yourself working online. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Um, Nisley, you said wanted to say something. You're can't. There's no voice at all. So Nisley, guys, basically, I'm part of the Freedom Nexus. I'm one of their coaches. So Nisley is actually one of the co-founders for Freedom Nexus.
Hello, can you hear me now?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Hello. So, hello everyone, and congratulations for going through the entire masterclass. And I just wanted to say really quick things because we have a lot of students inside the Work Anywhere Challenge already. And what I think was the most effective thing that worked for all the students and getting more effective in their job and getting hired right away is having this concept that we call accountability, right? Because for some of us, we have a lot of dreams, we have BHAGs, we have things that we want to accomplish in the future. But for some reason, we could not get ourselves to start. We could not get ourselves to be accountable of our actions. And for some reason, when we have somebody else who is accountable of what we're doing and what we're supposed to be doing, that is when we take action. That's when we try to push ourselves because, hey, this is not where you're supposed to be because you should be there, right? So because you have an accountability, and Leanne here was my accountability before, accountability partner in the past, and that really kickstarted a lot of things for her brand and also my brand. And having Leanne, I mean, I'm just sharing this with you because I know how good a friend she is and how she is as a mentor. And based on my experience in the past Work Anywhere Challenge, because I was part of all of them, I just wanted to say that it's a completely a different experience if you have someone who knows exactly where you should be going than doing it and figuring it out all by yourself, because that will save you a lot of time, saved you a lot of effort and study time and everything else and all the hardship and the pain and etc. When you have someone who can definitely guide you and lead you to the right path and eventually become your accountability partner and mentor who will be there with you every step of the way. Now, this might not be for everyone because not everyone is really able to follow through maybe or have the discipline, but we know exactly that we all want to go somewhere. We know that this is not the kind of life that we actually want and we want to do more. So for you to realize that, maybe you need to have a mentor, you need somebody else who can take care of that for you, and also you need someone who can find that potential that you already have and that maybe you might not be very used to yet, or you just couldn't figure out what. So yeah, we are very happy to have you join us inside the Work Anywhere Challenge. So Leanne and I will be in the mastermind as well, just in case. So we'll be plotting some cool and exciting stuff for you. Okay, my dog is now noisy.
Super cute, adorable dog. But yeah, anyway, guys, that brings up a super good point. One of the things that you do in the challenge is you guys have daily homework. So I know that does not sound fun at all, but every single student I've ever had loves the homework because all of the homeworks move you towards having a job. Some of them will say, create your resume, and I'll give the feedback, or some of them will say update your social media, or create your BHAG and share it with the group. Basically, it's making sure that you guys do move towards that goal. Like I said, a lot of the students that we've had as early as day 5, they will already have a job, which is mind blowing to me. But that shows me what kind of determination that they have, what kind of mindset that they have, that they took so much action even without us getting to the point where I was going to be talking about how to apply for jobs. So that is definitely something that you guys can also work towards, especially if you sign up for the Work Anywhere Challenge. Because again, basically, you guys have me as a coach for life. That's the biggest thing that you guys, I guess pay once, and then you guys can ask me unlimited questions in the future. So, by the way, since Leslie chatted her Facebook on there, this is again same all of them except for my YouTube. Same account, same usernames for all of them. My Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You guys can connect with me. You guys can add me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy, especially if you guys say in the message like, "Hey, I attended your free webinar." Um, my also awesome assistant will also actually go through those and accept you guys and get you guys in. So I don't think we don't have any more questions. I will see you guys around on Facebook, on Insta, on my YouTube. And like I said, I don't want to take so long. So I'm actually now going to be ending the live stream on YouTube. So if you guys are watching at the end of this, thank you so much for tuning in. So I'm now going to end the stream. And basically,